Oh, God, yes.
Oh, that's cool. We're looking to see if we... Nothing yet. I just got a YouTube notification. The link. Yeah. Wow, it got really loud on me. Oh, I know why. Hold on. There we go. Sorry. I had to mute something. Oh, yeah, we do have a comment. Oh, that's an easy one. We'll start with his first. Well, maybe we'll go through some inactives real quick, and then it's because I had the I didn't mute. Okay. It's all good. Nobody can hear us right now, can they? That's fantastic. Can you? Yeah, they can hear us.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
All right, we're live, I think. I don't know if anybody can hear me or not.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Upside. I am Justin. That is Kyle. That was perfect, Kyle.
I gotta figure out. I gotta figure out what the sound is going on here. We got two pieces of music playing right now. I don't know what's happening here. Let me get that fixed if I can.
Absolutely. Yeah, turn down that background noise for me, man.
I'm trying here. Let me get it.
All right. As we're going through that, what we wanted to do to start off right off the bat is wanted to go over some actives and inactives with you, some healthy scratches and maybe some they're actually hurt. So real quick,
here, let me see if I can get that sound turned off. Let me see.
Okay.
Let me figure it out.
I got you.
All right, keep going. Just keep going.
All right, yeah, healthy. We got some actives here for everybody. Gabriel Davis is active. Keelan Cole is active. Jonnu Smith. Trey Sermon, that's one to keep an eye on. Michael Pittman Jr. Zach Moss, Doghouse, now he's back. Eric Fisher of the Indianapolis Colts is active at left tackle. Officially inactive, we got Ramondre Stevenson. He's the one that gets the doghouse, not Damian Harris. So that means J.J. Taylor is up. Marshawn Lattimore, defense player. We don't usually talk about defense on here, but the Saints are going against Carolina Panthers. That is one to keep an eye on, as well as Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is out for the Saints, as well as about half their coaching staff. And then Jamison Crowder is inactive as well. So what I wanted to do as well, Kyle, is we wanted to get right into some questions that we just got in the chat. Right off the bat, we have JHave514, 12-team standard, need to start 2 wide receivers, Chris Godwin, DJ Moore, or Jamar Chase. Kyle, what you think on that one?
Gosh, I would probably 2. I would probably start. I would start probably with Godwin and DJ Moore. I'm guessing. I don't know. That's maybe my guess there. I think.
That's what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah, that's where I would go. Just because I think Chase, they're gonna probably not try to feed him the ball as much this week. That's my guess. So, yeah. We'll see.
That's what. Okay, yeah. Chris Godwin, DJ Moore is my choices as well. Chris Godwin. It is kind of hit or miss when it comes to some of the Tampa Bay Buccaneer wide receivers. It's who are going to be the top ones that game, but they throw enough. They threw 51 times, I think, in week 1 that they might all be relevant.
Yeah.
And then DJ Moore, I just mentioned the Saints are going to be out their top wide receiver or top cornerback and one of their best safeties. So that's why I'm leaning towards DJ Moore. Jamar Chase, I think there's still going to be some hit or miss on that one.
Yeah.
So if you got any more questions on there, JHay514, definitely leave them down below. Thanks for hanging out with us right at the beginning where you got to hear some
behind the scenes stuff. There you go.
All right. And we have another one for John Simmons. Do I start Kenyon Drake or Melvin Gordon at flex full PPR?
Let's see here. I would say I would probably go Melvin Gordon at flex there, just because while Drake should be getting more, he's not. What's his name is Gruden's going to be all over that, and he's putting who's it?
Peyton
Barber out there. It's just absolutely ridiculous, but he is. That's what he's doing. He's putting Peyton Barber out there. So yeah, I'm going with Melvin Gordon in that instance. That's where I'm heading. What do you think?
That's a tough one because we're looking at PPR, and I think Kenyon Drake is able to catch the balls out of the backfield. But it is, John Gruden did say that he's wanting to have Peyton Barber come up and fill in that Josh Jacobs role, which means goal line work. And
it's absolutely ridiculous.
It really is. So that means Kenyon Drake is going to be more on the third down. So, PPR, that does work out. But, Melvin Gordon looked really good, and I think there's going to be enough volume for both Gordon and Javonte Williams to be good. It's really splitting hairs here. I would probably actually lean towards Melvin Gordon.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, next one we've got, let's see here. We had another one. Looks like Mooney, Brian Edwards, Gabriel Davis, or KJ Hamler at the wide receiver 3 standard scoring. Gosh, where would you go with that? I'd say I would go with, I like Hamler a lot, but I don't know that this week's going to be the great matchup for that. So I might lean more towards Gabriel Davis just because I think that the boom possibility is there. That's a really tough one at wide receiver 3. What do you think?
Yeah, the boom is definitely there for Gabriel Davis, but you have a boom, you have a bust potential with Gabriel Davis.
Yeah.
I don't know if Emmanuel Sanders is playing in this game. I can't remember if he is. I don't know if I saw that one come through or not. Darnell Mooney, well, guess what? We still had the red rifle at quarterback. If it was Justin Fields, I would feel very confident in starting Darnell Mooney. Brian Edwards didn't do anything until the fourth quarter and into overtime. He was a ghost out there, so that is not one I would want to trust. If you're wanting a boom, throw Gabriel Davis in there.
Yeah.
See how it feels.
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we had some from Twitter as well. You want to grab some of those? Let me double check if we've gotten any new ones over on the stream. So he mentioned he said I have terrible receiver depth in a 12-team dynasty. Yeah, that's rough, man. I would say if you're in a dynasty with that, I would hold on to KJ Hamler at least and Brian Edwards. Yeah. I mean, those are all upside guys right there. I really like all of those guys. So I would probably this week. Yeah, you're a little thin this week, but in the long run, you're set up pretty good. I like what you have going there. So
you have some pretty good depth. I mean, like it may not seem like you have depth. You got a lot of guys that are right now are wide receiver 4s, wide receiver 5s.
Yeah,
that they're just waiting for a little extra push to get them into every week consistency.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's go over to some questions that I found online on Twitter. This one is from Corey Vandries at CSV0804. It's a half PPR question. Jonathan Taylor or Damian Harris? What do you think on that one?
It's Taylor for me. I mean, I'm starting him in all formats. And in fact, I think this week, I said he has the potential to be start of the week at running back. So I think that's where you go. Damian Harris is just slowly getting some more volume, and I like what's happening there. But any given week, Belichick could just decide to pull the rug right out from under you. And he had that fumble near the goal line last week.
Yep.
And so he could be in the doghouse. We just aren't aware. It's like a friggin' vault out there.
Just, wait for J.J. Taylor, who I believe is active this game, to just blow up, which he did look really good in preseason because Belichick did sit Ramondre Stevenson down this week because of the fumble. So, he sat him down, but he didn't sit Damian Harris down. You can't healthy inactive Damian Harris at this point, but it could be something where you limit the touches. But Jonathan Taylor is definitely the start here in this one. LA Rams got tore up on the run at the running game by the hands of David Montgomery. And there's quite a bit of difference, in my opinion, between Jonathan Taylor and David Montgomery.
Yeah.
So going JT all day on that one. All right, next up we have from Corey P at FF_guitarist. Who y'all got? 0.5 PPR. Antonio Brown or Elijah Mitchell?
It's AB for me. Mitchell, I don't think he's going to get all of the work. We were talking about it before we fired up the stream. That Sermon is active today. Not a healthy scratch, right? Surprise, surprise. I had a feeling that Shanahan was going to bring him in and start playing him. And so I that's just the first indication that that's possibly going to happen, that Eli Mitchell was what they had to go with last week following Mostert's injury. So my thought is that that's where you got to go with it, is AB, because there's a lot of mouths to feed there, but he's got potential all day long, and Tom Brady has shown propensity to want to throw to him, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm right there with you. It's the reclamation project of Antonio Brown and #Twami. So it's definitely that. Yep. You mentioned Trey Sermon is active today. They do say they want to get him the heavy workload, but Kyle Shanahan is always one of those ones. It's hard to trust what he actually believes in. I think you're going to see a heavy dose of Eli Mitchell, Jermichael Hasty, as well as Trey Sermon in this game. Everybody keep an eye on Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to be out for at least the first 8 weeks, I believe. That's what what they're saying right now. But he's turning into the guy that's going to be the most experienced here in just a few weeks.
And you know what? When he's been able to stay healthy, he's been effective. He's been a good
he's a touchdown
runner.
Machine.
Yeah.
Touchdown machine. He really trusts him at the goal line. So
he's huge. He's really tall, if I remember right. So.
I think he's a big boy. I mean, everybody's bigger than us, but all right. So next up, we have from Mount Olympus at Basket Out. I probably said that one wrong.
Bascout.
Who should I start? Half PPR. We got DJ Moore, Myles Gaskin, T. Higgins.
Gosh, Probably DJ Moore for me. I think that you lean DJ Moore too. We both believe that Higgins has a good amount of upside, obviously, right? And it's just that offense, I think right now is geared towards T. Higgins just on the sole basis that they can't get a downfield throw to save their lives because they can't get Burrow enough time to do that, right? So Higgins works really well close to the line of scrimmage, and as a result, he's going to be more effective. I think that you'll see Jamar Chase get a little more play as they are able to push the ball further down the field if they can get play action to start working better. But I would go with Moore because you're looking at targets, you're looking at catches, all that stuff. And, there's guys out, as you mentioned. You want to let everybody know what defensive players are out on this one. Go for it.
Yeah, Marshawn Lattimore and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson are out for the Saints, as well as about half the coaching staff for the Saints. I saw a tweet out there, I think it's from Adam Schefter just a little bit ago, saying there are 5 starters that are out that played week 1. So in 1 week, there's 5 starters that are out that are on the defense. I should clarify. And DJ Moore, he had a pretty good game with Sam Darnold at quarterback because he got 8 targets. And in a half PPR, I look for a guy that's going to get the targets and the catches. But yes, T. Higgins does have more upside just because of the potential of just blowing the top off and also catching a couple touchdowns. And that's never been DJ Moore's game.
No.
We've been asking and begging for it, but it just has not happened yet. So hopefully this is the year.
He seems to be clicking with Darnold. It's working, I think.
It was a little shocking. We thought maybe it was going to be a little bit more of a Robbie Anderson show, and he got 1 target. Granted, that 1 target went for 1 catch and 40 plus yards and a touchdown.
And that could
Looks good
flip
on the box score.
That could flip,
It very well could.
Yeah. So, all right. Flex, please. PPR League. This is from Steven Sutton at Steven Sutton 10. It says pick 1 flex in a PPR league. He's got looks like Mike Evans, Mike Williams, and Eli Mitchell. Where would you go with that one?
That one's actually a pretty tough one. It's not something that you would have thought of just a couple years ago. This wouldn't be a question at all. Mike Evans was kind of ghosted last week, but I still believe that he would be the one that would, be the main benefactor in here. But Mike Williams, man, contract year, he blew up last week. Then Eli Mitchell, so really it's just down to Mike Evans or Mike Williams. It's the battle of the mics here. I still got to go with Mike Evans because year in and year out, week in and week out, he's going to be a focal point. Mike Williams, man, that's the roller coaster of all roller coasters right there, just like his teammate. Yeah.
With Mike Williams, maybe you'll get 6 targets. You probably get the same out of Evans. And I think it's actually possible this week. I was talking to you about this. I think that it's possible he's the wide receiver 1 on the team this week. It's just lining up his direction, I think. I could also easily see, AB, we've said it. We think that Antonio Brown finishes as wide receiver 1 on the season for Tampa Bay. But Mike Evans is going to be competing with him every single week, and I think that's where it goes. Mike Williams, you just can't trust that the volume's going to be there. I know it's enticing with the PPR to think maybe I should go with Mike Williams. Eli Mitchell, we already explained. We think that he's going to be fighting for carries, actually, because Trey Sermon is active, and we think that it's probably likely that he's just in a running back by committee situation, and that would not be exactly ideal. So I would play the upside bet here, which is that Mike Evans has a good day. And if Mike Evans has a good day, and he's usually good for every other week, if he does, you've got a top 12 wide receiver potentially. Mike Williams, if he has a good day for him, he's probably a wide receiver 2, even in PPR. So I would just play the upside. On a bad day, Mike Evans is absolute trash, but they all are, right? So
it doesn't take much. All right, we actually have a question from Twitter here from your brother.
Oh, so, which one?
Sorry, Danny Bobby.
Oh, there we go.
All right, with Jacobs out, who do you replace him with? DJ Chark, Latavius Murray, or Michael Pittman Jr.?
Wait, so who is it again? Chark,
DJ Chark, Latavius Murray, Michael Pittman, and this is a standard league. This is our league, and he's going against me, so it's like, who do I actually? No, I was kidding. I would give you some unbiased.
Yeah. I don't know who each is facing today. I like Murray for his potential volume. But my concern is that he's not fully worked into the offense just yet, and I don't trust Harbaugh completely. Right? He's out. He's in Baltimore. Right? Is that right? I don't trust Urban Meyer either. So Chark is kind of a and then I don't know. I think the Colts try to get it right here, and I think they're going to be effective in the run game today. And as a result, I think that play action is going to work. I think that Wentz is actually going to be able to take a couple shots down the field, and I think they're going to try to open up the offense for him a little bit to be able to do that. So I like that possibility there. I'm just looking at the feed of questions here rolling through.
I'll run through something real quick with you. DJ Chark is going against the Denver Broncos. Okay. Michael Pittman Jr. is going against the LA Rams. Latavius Murray is going against Kansas City. Now, Michael Pittman, I love what he's capable of. Yeah, that defense
is just not good for him.
Yeah, Paris Campbell is out for this game for the Colts, so that's one less wide receiver.
I'd go with Murray. That's where I would go. I would go with Murray because even though the Rams have this mythic, they're really good on defense kind of thing, right? They were not good week one against the run. They just weren't. They really were not good in week one. So I would say Murray, see if they don't get it right. He's going to get more volume, I think. Gosh, I would lean Murray, but it's not an enviable question. It really isn't.
Yeah.
We're talking flex here, so.
Yeah, Tyson is rumored to, kind of came out of favor pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Just because he missed, I believe it was a pass pro, and he missed the block, and that's what caused one of Lamar Jackson's fumbles. So I think, the more and more Latavius Murray gets acclimated to the playbook, which, I mean, I'm sure there's so much that goes into a playbook, but for running backs, I wonder how much is really, run right, run left, run up the middle.
It's just terminology. It's just terminology. And I'm sure he spent the whole week just memorizing which gap he's hitting on which term, and that's probably it primarily. And he's got more options out of the backfield with Murray catching the ball than these other guys. And I just like Murray in general to get things done. He's always been a really underrated back. He just never gotten his due. Kind of like Gus Edwards, right? Just never really gotten his due. He was in Dallas for a while, I want to say, and just was the whipping boy of Garrett there for a while. So
yeah. All right. And then, when it comes to DJ Chark, you got 12 targets, but then he came down with 3 catches last week. So,
I don't know what's going to go on with that. They're not going to throw 51 passes this week. No. So I would say, be careful with that one.
All right. Another question that Dan...
Well, just 1 second. 1 second. I want to answer one on the stream here. On the sidebar here, we've got from Gangstalicious. He's the one with the dynasty team, right? And he had the four young wide receivers. Good upside guys there, right? Pittman is on the waiver wire. He's asking, should he drop Brian Edwards to pick up Michael Pittman off the waiver wire? I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another, I think, kind of there with those two guys. He mentioned before that Judy was sitting on the waiver wire. And that's, to me, I would drop one of the 4 to grab a guy who's going to be available later in the year, especially in Dynasty, all that. But when it comes to Pittman, you're kind of trading off the same sort of upside player when you're looking at those 4 guys compared to Pittman. He just fits in the same bunch. Whereas Judy, I think, is a level above those guys. And so I would definitely drop whatever one I felt was my lowest value and go and grab Judy and let him sit on my bench for a couple weeks before he's healthy. Hopefully. But in Dynasty, you can ride that risk a little bit. You can let it roll to the next season potentially. Whereas with Pittman, I do like Pittman's upside, but I don't know what's going on with that offense exactly with Wentz back there. I don't know if he's going to click and make it work. I don't know if Pittman's going to be his favorite guy or any of that. Whereas in Denver, I fully believe Teddy Bridgewater is going to be absolutely fine throwing the ball to Jerry Jeudy when he's healthy.
Yeah.
So
I'm right there with you. On this question, it is, it's a toss-up because each week they're going to be ranked in the 40s and 50s. Yeah. As wide receiver. That's just how it's going to be because there's flaws in both of them. Can you trust either quarterback to get them consistent work? Mm-hmm. But if you had Jerry Jeudy and you're in a dynasty league, I would probably, you have decent depth that, you can, granted you do have KJ Hamler on your team as well. I would still be fine with doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right, here we go. You said that you had a Twitter question.
Well, we got a couple more
From
actually.
the Twatter.
Actually, from Dan still. He goes, Sutton breakout game this week. I'll take this one.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's quite ready for Cortland Sutton because it just didn't look like it week one. I think he had to kind of get pushed in rather quickly.
Yep.
I would look towards a Tim Patrick or KJ Hamler having a bigger week, but I think you just hold Dan, and I think next week would be a little bit better.
Yeah. My issue with Sutton is that I've always had an issue with Sutton.
You always have.
I have always had an issue with Sutton, and I've been right every time except for like half of the season. So in his entire career, it was his rookie year. He was pretty solid, but he's just never had consistent QB play. I think is the biggest issue for me. I've always been a big doubter of Elway's ability to evaluate QBs, as you well know. No. Why? Yeah, I don't think that it's a great situation. It's just not, right?
Speaking of that, there was I don't know if you saw this, there's a hot mic incident when it comes to, I believe, Von Miller on the sideline talking about quarterback. Yeah. It was something along the lines of, we haven't had a good quarterback since 18 was here.
Yeah, he said something. It was something to Teddy Bridgewater, he said, or somebody about Teddy Bridgewater during the game said, it's been a long time since I've seen something like that since 18 was here, 18 being Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good. He forgot he was mic'd up for the game. He even admitted later on that he forgot he was mic'd up. So,
well, I mean, it's a factual statement.
Yep,
so.
It is. It's absolutely accurate. All right, here we go. Let's take another question that we've got. This one is from @BaileyFFB. He says, "Start one QB. Ben, I assume Big Ben, Roethlisberger, Tyrod Taylor, or Teddy Bridgewater. Who would you go with there?" That's not a great question.
I wouldn't want to have to super flex.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is a super flex one. Because Big Ben's going to throw it 40 times and get you 180 yards.
Yeah.
Tyrod still has some work on the ground, and he actually looked really good week one. Granted, it was Jacksonville and Teddy Bridgewater.
Heck of a catch, though. Heck of a catch by Brandon Cooks. Did you see that contested catch that he had down near like the 3-yard line? It was absolutely ridiculous. 2 guys on him, and it was nearly a simultaneous catch with one of them, and he came down with it. It was ridiculous. Like, Cooks has still got it out there, man. And Tyrod,
it doesn't matter who's throwing
while
the
he was
ball.
getting friggin' laid out too, laid out, shoulder to the chest, dude. I mean, Tyrod's good as long as it's not a doctor and a needle, but
Dang.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
shoulder to the chest.
I'm leaning towards Teddy B.
Yep.
He's going against Jacksonville. Pretty much anybody can do anything against Jacksonville right now. Big Ben, I like him. Las Vegas Raiders defense is, you know what I mean? But you're looking for a little more upside because, like I said, you're going to get 40 pass attempts out of Ben, and you're going to get 180 yards and maybe a touchdown to Deontay Johnson. And Tyrod's going against the Cleveland Browns, and that's, I wouldn't want to touch that one.
Not right now. No. I would go with Teddy Bridgewater as well, because I think that at the QB position, you want to always establish what your floor need is. And with him, I think you're going to get that. He's one of those guys that I would feel comfortable if I had a bye week or an injury to a QB where I need to go get a fill-in and I'm in a standard scoring with 6-point TDs. I'm betting that I'm getting 18 to 22 points out of that. And if he does well, maybe I get up near 28, somewhere in that range, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's Teddy Bridgewater just because I feel like I've got a good floor there. And that's what I want out of that situation. QB, the variance between QB value is really low, and so I'm always looking for consistency more than anything out of those guys. So, yeah.
All right, we actually got another question into the chat here.
Okay.
Marquez Callaway or Tyler Boyd for full or for flex, sorry.
For flex.
Full PPR.
Full PPR. Let's see here. Let's see. Callaway is going against who? We talked about this before, right? Callaway and then Boyd is in Cincinnati. I got to figure out who they're going against.
Yeah, I got you. Hold on. I'll tell you. All right. Marquez Callaway is going against the Carolina Panthers, and then Tyler Boyd is going against Chicago.
All right. So Boyd at Chicago. Okay.
Boyd at Chicago.
I would
not
go
the greatest
with
matchup.
No, it's not. And I feel like they're going to be pressured all day by Khalil Mack, a few other guys, right? I don't think that defensive front is as scary as people have an assumption towards, right? I think that Khalil Mack got handled pretty well last week for the most part. I think it was like the last or second to last play that he finally got in the backfield and got a sack or something like that. I would go, though, with Callaway, I think. Deontay Harris is a threat to open the lid, to like just take the lid off of a defense.
Yep.
And with Jameis able to chuck the ball 65 yards through the air, I think the teams are going to have to actually respect that now. Not that Kevin King is great or anything, actually, right? Here we go. Right here, right? Actually, we've got that one queued up here, guys. That's right. There it is. Look at that, Deontay Harris, right over top of Kevin King. There he is. Boom. There we go. Yeah, we had that one saved, ready to go. Deontay Harris. So I would lean towards, I would actually lean towards Callaway here because I think that Callaway is going to have the game opened up for him a little bit more. And man, has he been effective. Jameis threw a couple really nice touchdowns to him in, I think, the third preseason game right before the season started. And they were, one, phenomenal passes, two, even better catches. The second one was absolutely amazing. Front corner of the end zone, just hanging inbounds barely, that kind of thing. And it looked awesome. So I like Callaway a lot. I think that he's good for this week, and I would go with him over Boyd at this point.
So, yeah, it's almost like, do you want the known Tyler Boyd, who's got an okay floor, or you want the upside of a Marquez Callaway? Because, yes, he looked really good in preseason. He has all the hype. I mean, we were believing in the hype, and then he got 2 targets for 1 catch week 1. Is it something where the defense really kind of geared towards him? Because, who was going to be the guy at wide receiver that, the defense was going to have all the attention towards? Well, Marquez Callaway is the one that they really saw during the preseason that he should have been the number 1 wide receiver, which I think until Michael Thomas comes back, he is the number 1 wide receiver, as long as you don't count Alvin Kamara as their number 1 wide receiver. Yeah. But if you're looking for the upside, I would look at the Marquez Callaway because I think they are going to have to throw a decent amount in this game. And then if you're looking for an okay floor, it could be Tyler Boyd because you kind of mentioned it's not the greatest of matchups. The front 7 is okay for Chicago, and I think they're going to get a lot of pressure because I think anybody's going to get pressure on that Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. Yeah. And if that's the case, Tyler Boyd does live around the line of scrimmage. He's their
so
slot
does T.
guy.
Higgins, kind of, right?
He does. I would still go with, if you're looking for upside, Marquez Callaway. If you're looking for an okay floor, Tyler Boyd.
Yeah. I think that's where you go with it. It's a tough one. All right, we've got one here.
And then the same person that asked that one, should I sell Jacobs low or hold him? You got it. You got to hold. You got to hold, man.
Yeah, don't give up to shit.
Low on Josh Jacobs. Yes, he did look like every time he came off the field like he was gonna need a walker, but that was going against the Ravens, and he did get beat up quite a bit. Yeah, but he was getting that goal line work. I mean, for all the falls that is Chucky, that is John Gruden, he is ringing true for what he said, that Josh Jacobs would get a lot of the first and second down work and the goal line work, and he did. They both had the same amount of carries, I believe, or same amount of touches last week when it comes to Jacobs and Kenyon Drake. So you're going to have some variableness between the two, but you got to hold on to Josh Jacobs. If you want to, wait for another 2 touchdown game and then sell high.
Yeah, I think that's what you do. And, Jacobs, they've shown time and again that they're more than willing to just ride him. So if anything happens to the other players, they're still going to trot Jacobs out there damaged. They've done it before. Like, he had a banged up shoulder either last year or the year before. Year before that. And they just kept putting him out there. I mean, there was 12 games in which he was a running back 1 in the league or something out of that season. So, I mean, that's pretty solid considering how just destroyed he was. It probably kind of has taken him down a notch or 2 in value, but in fantasy football, he still has this mythos built around him as a result of that season, I think. So, we're just always waiting on Gruden to screw it up somehow. Here we go. We got one from your brother in the chat. When will Javonte Williams take over the Broncos backfield?
Do you want me to answer that one?
Yeah, I guess if you want.
I'll go real quick and then I'll let you.
Sure.
2022. That's when I think he's going to take over the backfield because, Melvin Gordon, even though he did not play much during the preseason, he's talking about the soft tissue issue, injuries that he's always had in the past, hamstring, groin. I think it's a groin injury this preseason. But the guy's playing for a second contract, and, the Broncos are probably going to try to milk all that they can out of that $8 million that is left on the contract this year out of Melvin Gordon. So the thing is they both provided, top 24 running back value. Yeah. Are they going to do that week in and week out? I don't think they can. But he's not going to take over until 2022, man.
No, I agree with that, actually. I think that most likely this season he'll end up with some amount of lion's share, but taking over the backfield, I see as getting somewhere around 70% of the carries or more in today's game. I think that's pretty much what you can hope for. And so I would probably say that, not until next year is he really going to be there. I would imagine that at best he's going to end up in a 50-50 split this season with Gordon, but I see Gordon ultimately hanging on to it for the most part. He's effective. If nothing else, he's effective. He's a plotter. He can take care of the ball, and he's not going to get hurt enough that he has to get out of the game constantly. That's the only scenario in which I see Javonte Williams really taking over what we see him getting next year, is if Gordon gets hurt this season. So, yeah.
Well, all right. This is a perfect little segue. So there's another question that we had that I pulled from Twitter from at KWERST. It's a PPR start sit, Leonard Fournette or Javonte Williams.
Oh, gosh. For today, full PPR, you said?
Yep.
I don't like that question. I would go with Fournette, I think. I think that he's more likely to just see the ball more often. It's tough. Both of those are bad scenarios to be stuck with right now, especially in PPR. Yeah. I mean, you get the upside with Javonte Williams of catching the ball in the PPR. Yeah. Fournette, maybe he's going to have 2 catches. Maybe. I mean, that's a big maybe.
They keep trying to throw in the ball, but he was also the reason why there was an interception last week. Yeah. So Williams is going against Jacksonville, Fournette going against Atlanta. So
I don't know why they're trying to
really getting scared.
I don't know why they're trying to force passes to Fournette. I mean, they've got Giovanni Bernard out there.
They benched Ronald Jones, know, so and they don't want to have Giovanni Bernard out there on first and second down. So I think that's what happened. But they said, Bruce Arians. We had a quote that I said during our start sits for this week was, Bruce Arians saying, I have 3 starters, and it's Giovanni Bernard, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones. Thank you, man. You're turning into Bill Belichick when it comes to what we believe in the running back room. I would actually, for full PPR, I am going to lead towards Javonte Williams in this one. Just because, Fournette does have stones for hands. He was good in the playoffs last year, but not so much to start off this season. So.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well,
we got another one in here that we have flex. It's Jarvis Landry or Javonte Williams again in PPR.
Yeah.
Get a lot of Javonte Williams questions out there.
Well, I mean, what's the status on OBJ? He's out, right?
Out.
Yeah, I'm going with Landry then in that case because Landry's going to be the guy that there. So I would go with him. He's the ignored guy always, right? He is the last guy to get any sort of respect of any kind when it really comes down to it. I saw a tweet just the other day that was saying, why is it that there is always a point in which in every draft in which no one is taking Jarvis Landry? Like they're just going to sit there and let Jarvis Landry just keep falling and falling and falling. And it seems to be every draft, it's Jarvis Landry. And it's because he's not flashy, he's not showy, but he'll go out there, he'll get you 12 catches and nobody will be any of the wiser, right? So I would go with, in a PPR, Jarvis Landry all day, especially with OBJ out.
Yeah, it has to be Jarvis Landry. And there's a reason why nobody really talks about him, Kyle, is because it's not like Jarvis Landry has that breakaway speed like other wide receivers, because he lives around the line of scrimmage. So he is going to get you 10, 12 targets and, get you probably 10 catches, but it's going to be for 80 yards.
He still gets drafted, unlike Emmanuel Sanders, who's the same guy, right?
At this point in their career, yes, because Emmanuel Sanders lived on the outside, but now I think he's kind of hanging out in the slot whenever he is playing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely Jarvis Landry in this scenario, even though, Baker, they want to have him throw 30 or less times, but, you give him 25% Jarvis Landry of those, that's a pretty good percentage.
Yep.
Pretty good number. Pretty good amount.
All right, we've got a couple season-long questions. We want to get through these two?
Yes.
All right, let's see here. Sure,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was offered Tyreek Hill for my Justin Jefferson and Damian Harris 0.5 PPR. Do I accept? I'm a bit thin at running back outside of my starters, Henry and Monty, since it's a 14 team. That's pretty good to have those two on a 14 team. I have Henry, Monty, Sonny Michel, and Kenny Gainwell. Someone's been listening to us.
Yeah. Well, maybe not because he's got Henry.
I get.
Yeah. Well, it depends on where you are. Well, if you're drafting in the back of your first round, this is a 14 team, then Henry is a great grab, actually, if you got him in the back. And then paired him up with Montgomery, also got Gainwell there. Sonny Michel could end up as the running back one on that team, on the Rams. I don't know what his wide receiver depth looks like. I'm hoping that it's pretty strong, but I don't know what it looks like. So he's saying that he could get Tyreek for both Justin Jefferson and Damian Harris. It's a half PPR. I would stick with Justin Jefferson, actually, because Tyreek Hill, it's the rare thing that he ends up with like 7+ catches. So whereas Justin Jefferson could go out there and put a double-digit catch total on the week for you any given week. As long as they start clicking. Right now they aren't. Maybe that.
Yeah, week one.
Yeah, week one they weren't. But so I would stick with Jefferson and Damian Harris. Actually, I think that Harris has the potential to sneak up and be your third running back there. It'd be a great flex for you. I like Tyreek Hill a lot, but unless you have Mahomes, I don't see the upside to getting him right now.
Ooh, that's a good. Yeah, he most likely does not after what he said on this team so far. I actually lean towards the Justin Jefferson and Damian Harris. Justin Jefferson finishes more times than not as an elite wide receiver as well as Tyreek Hill, and you're able to get Damian Harrison that's a mid-range running back too in a 14-team league. Yeah, like you said, you're able to have Henry, Montgomery, and Damian Harrison in your flex. I
think in a PPR, half PPR situation, Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson are a lot closer than people want to think, just because Tyreek gets it done on he still gets some volume, but the volume catcher in that offense is Kelsey by far. By far. Justin Jefferson is a great volume opportunity potential, and both he and Thielen any given week are the guy who's going to catch a double-digit total for you. We do have another question here pop up in the chat. I think he's asking again about maybe he dropped out. Are we still 100% starting Gordon over Kenyon Drake at the flex? Yes. Is there some sort of news that popped up that we're not aware of? I don't think so.
No, I think he might have just hopped off and hopped back on.
Okay,
I would say absolutely yes, because it's the Denver Broncos going against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kenyon Drake is going against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even though Devin Bush, for the great linebacker for the Steelers, is out this game, I still think it's going to be Melvin Gordon has the most upside in this one for some reason, even though Kenyon Drake showed the last couple of years that he can have a workload. They don't want to give him that workload. No,
they absolutely don't. It's funny. They've got Javonte Williams, so I completely understand why they would try to not do that. So,
yeah. And then, it's, when it comes to Kenyon Drake, him and Josh Jacobs were right there neck and neck last year when it comes to red zone carries. And yet, they come over here and they were like, you know what? You don't get any red zone touches.
No.
We're going to pay you top 5 running back money, but none for you. Oh, Josh Jacobs gets hurt? Nope, we're not going to give you those. It's going to be Peyton Barber. Because that made sense.
Yeah. Well, it's Gruden and Mayock, right? That's what they do. They know better than everybody else in the NFL, right? They're definitely the best evaluators of talent that have ever existed. So, that's where they're going. All right, we got another season-long question. Here we go. It says, which side do you like more? Kyler, Saquon Barkley, Tony Jones Jr. He has, looks like Kamara's handcuff. For Lamar Jackson, Miles Sanders, and Kenyon Drake, non-PPR. he would get the Kyler side. So he has presently Lamar Jackson, Miles Sanders, Kenyon Drake. Would you take, if those were your guys, would you take Kyler, Barkley, and Tony Jones Jr.? When you already have Kamara?
Yes, I would take Kyler, Barkley, Tony Jones Jr.
I would too.
Barkley actually looked rather good Thursday Night Football.
I would have already smashed accept on that because Kyler is
just think of it.
Yeah, Kyler is a cheat code this season, guys. He's just absolutely. Yeah. It is very likely in my mind that he's competing for a QB1 over the whole season. Like
he's competing for an MVP
particular
trophy.
Yes, any particular week. Well, in fantasy football, I'm saying any particular week he could finish as the QB1. Most likely he's going to string together 9-10 elite weeks at least this season where he finishes top 6 at the position. So I like Lamar Jackson. I just think that there's too much going on with that offense as far as health that they can't rely on him like they have in the past because he's going to be focused on by the defense and then boom, he's out, right?
Yeah.
And look, we've said it before, Saquon Barkley, he relies too heavily on the 85-yard touchdown. Why? Because he could do that and he does it all the time. That's why. He's boom or bust, except that it's like every week it's a boom. So yeah, he's a little slower. It's going to take him a little time to get into it full swing, but I would go with that side. I would go with Kyler, Barkley, and Tony Jones Jr. I think is a great snag. And I would say he's a little more than Kamara's handcuff. So, yeah.
Your brother Dan just had another question here. Who is the biggest bust this week?
Ooh, biggest bust this
and
week.
I want to say you, Dan, because you're going against me. You, sir.
Yeah. Who's the biggest bust this week? I don't know. I don't know that I've thought of that even, who that would be.
I just kind of went through, because when you think of bust, you usually think of running backs or, your wide receivers. Yeah. And just some of the matchups I was looking at. One guy that, we both really like, but he didn't quite show out in week 1 again. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they're going against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
He rushed 14 times, 43 yards, and caught 3 for 29 yards. So it's, you know what I mean? And then the Ravens defense, of course, is the Ravens defense. But then when it comes to wide receivers, oh boy.
I could see maybe if you've got James Robinson, there's potential for him to be a bust this week as well. Probably paid up a little bit for him if you have him just because of the injury to Etienne. So I could see him being a bit of a bust. I'm hopeful that he's not exactly a regular running back slot for you. Like you're looking only to get quote unquote flex value. We use that term not to say you should have him in your flex, but to say that, he's bringing you RB3 value at best, probably.
Yeah. Even though we'd like all 3 of the wide receivers for Tampa Bay Buccaneer fantasy purposes, of course, one of them could be a bust this week. It's you take all 3, you throw a dart and see which one it lands on because that's the possibility of it.
Yeah.
But you like Mike Evans this week.
I do. I think that he's going to be okay this week.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just kind of do. Yeah. So, somebody who could be any given week, guys who can just disappear on you. I think that it's possible that Metcalf or Lockett's going to disappear a little bit this week.
I was actually kind of going to say something like that as well. Even though they keep talking about how they're going to lean more towards the pass, which they did. They
absolutely did. But I think they leaned more towards the pass relative to the running back than they have in the past. I wouldn't say that there was more passing in the actual receivers, right? But I would say there was more passing with the running backs. They were doing more of that. I like Lockett. I like Metcalf too, but I think he was being overdrafted. I think he was being drafted at his ceiling, and I thought that Lockett was being drafted appropriately. So for those 2 guys, I was willing to pay for Lockett at the price that he was showing in ADP, whereas with Metcalf, I thought his ADP was a little bit high. And we have that one too here. Right before we finish up, we've got the TD to Lockett here. This was a great adjustment.
Great adjustment.
Yeah, look at that, man. I think that he did that purposefully. Like he bent that route left because I can't imagine. I mean, maybe it came back to the right because Wilson was getting hit as he threw it, but he bent at the top, at the head, front of the end zone. He bent it to the left and then brought it back. So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty solid. I was just going over some quarterback rankings as well to see who potentially could be a bust. And I mean, Josh Allen was a bust last week. Finished as quarterback 21. Yeah. Does he do it again? That was against Pittsburgh. Well, he's got another. It's at Miami, so they have to travel down there to Miami. That could be another potential bust. You don't know. I mean, you draft him really high, so you have to play him, of course. But maybe you start to get a little bit figured out. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little bit hungover.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I think that offense has got problems because the running game is just never consistently good enough to really take the pressure off the passing game, other than Josh Allen himself, right? And they have kind of discouraged him from running out between the 20s for the most part, just because they don't want him to get destroyed in the open field. Now, if he's moving towards the end zone, obviously they're willing to take the risk for some level of payday on that, right? On a payoff. Right. So yeah. All right, guys, I think we're going to start wrapping it up. It is 15 minutes to kick off for most of you. Well, for everybody, right? Everybody's got a game, I'm sure. And so, a couple technical difficulties here, but much better than last time, I think. So we figured a few things out there. A few of you might have gotten a little bit of, how the sausage is made there. But, we're dialing it in. It's only our second time doing the live stream. It's a lot of fun, though. So hopefully we can help everybody out next week. Make sure that you are subscribed so that you can hop back on, same bat time, same bat channel next week, right? And we can answer all those last minute questions. Hit us up on Twitter with the same, same sort of questions, or you can drop in, if you're subscribed, you can drop in a question as well into the chat. Otherwise, catch us during the week. We're going to be doing waivers, Thursday episodes, and we're doing a mega episode of the starts and sits. Going forward, I think we're going to do mega episodes of those. Just drop them all in one place. That way you can find it all in one spot. All right, guys, it's been fun. Thanks for hanging around. Good luck today.